Hi guys, and I'm doing the video. What if Deku was the reincarnation of Sleepy Boys Incorporate plus Tubbo? 1 second, I need to close the door. Now that is taken care of, let me just get in a position where I am comfortable. Much better. Okay, now, UA is a college. And, I never mention what he looks like in, the, whole thing. So I'm going to tell you now because it doesn't describe it in the actual thing. So, he has brown hair that goes into blonde. He has a light blue eye and a faded light blue eye. Like this. Like, sort of like that one too, and Tubbo's. He has long hair. He has wings like Phil. He has pointed ears. And some animals that he has connection with and they don't see him as a threat are birds, bees, foxes, and pigs. If you don't know why birds, well, Philza has wings. Bees, Tubbo has a connection with bees. Foxes because Wilbur's son is a fox, and pigs because technically it's a pig. He can make fire/explosions. He can make withers and use telekinesis, since Wilbur is a ghost in the present tense. So, onto the story. Izuku's parents not Ingo, so it's not Ingo that gives birth to him. He had a mutation quirk, and Izuku never was seen having these mutations, so he was assumed to be quirkless. Okay, so basically most males have mutation quirks, basically. And there's a bit of hate, but not that much. Kind of like Karens. You see them in almost everywhere, but you don't get to see them yourselves unless you're my cousin. My cousin's not with me right now, so. He was assumed to be quirkless. Izuku's parents were very successful business owners and wanted Izuku to have it when he got older, but then they found out he didn't have a quirk. He was unfit to have the business. Wait. You know what? They hate him for another reason. Okay, guys, I just can't. Okay. Izuku's father became abusive towards his mother for giving birth to Izuku and accused her of cheating on him and threatening her to have more kids with him if she didn't, he would kill her. They did have kids, but she hated them with a burning passion. But her favorite was Izuku because he looked just like her the most and not him. So she would favor him. Izuku stayed in his room and took care of his siblings because both of them didn't care for the kids for their own reasons. But then Izuku became his father's next victim for abuse. But Izuku put up a fight, unlike his mother. Izuku finds anything to fight with his father, and his siblings could have be taken care of properly. But one day, his father stabbed Izuku with a knife and didn't want to go to jail for attempted murder, so he decided to go through with the murder. Izuku was then stabbed multiple times, so he decided to go through. Izuku was stabbed multiple times, but he had enough strength to call the police and fight his dad for 15 minutes. Until the police and ambulance were there. Izuku was taken into the hospital, and his father was taken into custody, and his siblings and mother were taken into questioning. His mother confessed to everything that happened, and his siblings filled in the things that she left out or wasn't there for. His father was arrested, and his mother didn't have the right to have the kids, so they put the kids in an orphanage. Izuku has 5 siblings, and they all call him Dad. Because, well, he was the only father figure to them. Izuku started to dream about people that he's never seen before, going on adventures and feeling what they felt. He felt sad, happy, enraged, and others, but he could never say why because he didn't know either. Izuku, living in an abusive household, was shy but not weak, and very overprotective of the siblings, and picks up some habits and features. Okay, so he gets the wings after the whole thing. He got into music and guitar. He seemed to be a natural at it. He is able to make fire/explosions. I mentioned that earlier. His hair reached to, the floor, so, yeah. He had a bit of anger issues. Izuku kept in hid these things himself, but he could never lie to his siblings, so he showed them and told them not to tell anyone else, not even the director. Izuku would not care for other children, but he just ignored them, but just gave all his attention to his siblings, and let them play with his hair, play with his wings, and he even used to tell the nieces to lift them in the air and make them look like they were flying, and created fire animals to entertain them. His siblings were his world, and if anything were to happen to them, the one who did it would be sacrificed to the blood gods, let's say that. Well, his siblings' names, ages, and genders, the oldest, are twins, Akio and Aito. They're both boys, and they are 12. Izuku is 13 or 14. 13, about to be 14. The third child is Fumihiro, male, and 7 years old. The second youngest is Hayato, and he is 4 years old and male. The youngest, Aki is a couple months old, and she is a girl. They have blonde or brown hair with blue eyes or red eyes. Izuku holds Aki in his wings instead of his arms because why not? But when his wings are tired, he would hold her in his arms. Izuku was in his room with his siblings when all of them were called to the main room. All of the people that came to adopt kids. Izuku comes down with Aki in his arms, Ayato on his shoulders, like a piggyback ride, but on his shoulders. Himihiro on his side holding his shirt, and the twins by his side holding where they can be close to him. They all come down to the first floor to see 3 adults. And when they come look at Izuku, they say, "Why do you have so many kids around you?" Izuku says, "These are my siblings." They say, "Oh, wow." Izuku says, "Oh, and if you try to adopt one of them, then you have to adopt all of us. So if you excuse me, I'll be in my room. Akio, Aito, go get Papa a storybook." Aito get one book each and start walking to the room, but are stopped by one of the adults. They say, "Did your brother force you not to go?" The boys glared at the adult and said, We won't go anywhere without Papa." They go up the stairs and stick their tongues out at the adult, and this makes that adult angry. Izuku is playing the guitar in front of everyone in front of him, as in his siblings. Izuku, after putting Aki to sleep, he says, "We will be going to the store. Who wants to come with me?" The twin says, "We will stay with Aki." Izuku says, okay, my gun is under my bed and the sword is in the closet. Me and your siblings will go to store and protect your sister. Izuku puts Ayato on his shoulders and Fumihiro in his hand. Izuku says, be good. They say, okay, in unison. Izuku is walking down the street and walks into the store, and he gets a bag to hold his groceries. It says bad. Sorry. So, I'm also gonna... Okay, I'll mention that at the end, actually. Gets a bag to hold his groceries. He looks around and takes some stuff and then says to Fumihiro, can you go get the cereal? He says, okay. He runs to the other side of the aisle and he gets the cereal. Ayato plays with his hair and Fumihiro comes back with a cereal, with also a man following him. Izuku puts him to his side, farther away from the man, and says, do you need something? The man says, why do you have kids? Izuku says, these are my younger siblings, and they call me dad just because they never had a good parental figures in our lives. The man says, oh, I apologize. Izuku says, no, it's fine. Izuku then pays for his stuff and leaves. When he gets closer to the orphanage, he sees it's blocked and mostly everyone is surrounding it. Izuku tries to run, but is stopped by a hero. Izuku says, my siblings are in there. The hero says, I'm sorry, kid, but the place was attacked by a villain, and they took hostages. Izuku started to worry and decided that the heroes are taking too long, so he goes around and finds the secret exit the twins made. Izuku goes to his room and first sees Aki still there but crying. He shushes her, and she's quiet. And he then looks out the window to see the twins being held hostage. This just makes Izuku's blood boil. Izuku then puts Aiki in her crib and takes out the ender pearls and rolls them to Akio and Aito, not using them so they don't disappear. Akio notices them and gestures them to Aito, then reach for them and throw them. The villain is confused and tried to grab them again, but his hands got shot by an arrow. He looked up and saw Izuku in the window of the orphanage, having a bow and arrow in hand. Izuku then jumps down and lands in front of the villain and uses his wings to shield the twins. Izuku then puts the bow away and takes out a sword that's black but coated with purple glowing light. The villain then laughs and takes a swing at Izuku. Izuku then dodges and punches him in the neck, injuring the villain. Sorry if I'm making noise. Ugh, my neck. Izuku then makes an axe and swings it at the villain, barely dodging. The villain, being a coward, runs away. Izuku then hugs his children and the kids say, Dad, are you okay? Izuku hugs them and says, I'm okay, guys, I'm okay. He says that, and his wings instinctively wraps his wings around them to hug them. Izuku then goes into the building and grabs Aki and cradles her in his arms and walk out the building. Since it was kind of broken, he walks into the street to see heroes in awe, and one of the cocky heroes that was there just to get some credit says, Kid, that was very dangerous. You could have gotten hurt. Izuku says the one who did nothing to stop the villain and could have hurt or killed innocent bystanders. Izuku rolls his eyes and glares at the hero. His eyes glow light blue and an aura surrounds him. It's kind of like this. If y'all know where this is, you are true fans of this manga. And those who don't know it, what are you doing with your life? And 2, it's called Soul Leveling. Look it up. It's very nice. It has over 100 pages. You should really read it. How about this one? It looks nice. Okay. Okay. The hero gets scared and walks away, but pissed his pants while looking at Izuku's face. The police comes up to Izuku and says, the building was severely damaged when the villain attacks, so you will be moved to a different location for the time being. And we were also notified that the caretaker did not take the totem staying here to school, so all of you will be going to school soon. That is it. Have a good day. They leave, and Izuku picks up his kids and goes in a car with some of the other children, and they go to a different orphanage close to Ken and Deku's school. Don't mind me, I'm just stretching. Okay. I'm probably going to be doing What If Deku Was Cuphead in a few hours. So, I'll fangirl about that later. Okay, I should stop. So, for this one, I forgot my notes of where, who he's shipped with. So, just put it in the comment section. Because, and I'll probably be, not continuing Filza. What If Deku Was Filza? I don't think y'all heard me. So basically, I'm canceling What If Deku Was Filza. So sorry for the one who did request it. I'm sorry. It's just I'm doing a lot of videos. Some of them are just one shots that I might never actually do again, but some of them I can guarantee that will have part 2s and stuff. So thanks, and this will probably be uploaded in a few minutes or an hour because it takes about 2 or 3 times to upload. So, bye.